Hey everyone, welcome back to the third part and final part of our three myths about parenthood that all growing families should know series, hosted by From Pregnant to Parent. I am so thrilled that you have stuck with us and you are ready to dive into this content for the third section. I'm Emily. I'm one of the coaches at From Pregnant to Parent. I'll introduce myself a little more in depth later on in the segment, but I want to get started with this content. But first, I just want to say thank you for being here. And I am so excited to take you on a little journey for the next few minutes here. So thanks so much for joining. You have heard already about the first two of the three myths that you should know about. One, that you don't need to prepare for parenthood. Two, that parenting comes all naturally. Oh boy, I wish I knew that was a myth my first time around. And the third, let's dig into, you don't need a village of support. The idea that you don't need a village of support is more and more common nowadays, I think, than it used to be. And it is absolutely untrue. Now, we'll talk a little bit more today about why that might look different than what it looked like in previous generations, and why your mom's village might not look like anything like what your village might look like. But you absolutely do need a village of support. Raising children is one of the most rewarding and one of the most challenging experiences in life. And we are not meant to do it alone. The idea that you don't need a village of support can lead to feelings of isolation, overwhelm, and burnout. And those are three things that are really hard to deal with in new parenthood, and that we absolutely want to try to avoid in how we set up our support networks and how we function as parents. So we've got you at this, and you're in the right place if you recently became a parent or you're preparing to welcome a new baby into your family. It's a perfect time to be adding in this kind of support if you feel really eager to learn. Even if you don't know quite where to start or what questions to ask yet, it's okay to not know. As soon as information starts coming to you, a lot of times that's what turns our brains on to start asking the really good questions. And you want to expand your parenting village with peers and experts to guide and support you. It is not just about finding the smartest, brightest minds to figure out what they have to say. A lot of times it's about having people who are going through a similar experience at the same time as you to know, this is part of how I want to deal with things, or I see how they approached it and I like that, or that's not for me. Just having that peer group as well is hugely, hugely helpful, along with that really intelligent, well-advised professional support. Now, this might not be for you. It's not for everybody. This might not be for you if you are committed to figuring out as you go, or you'd rather do it on your own. If science-backed data and information aren't a priority for you, or maybe even turn you off, we have to know what we value. And if that is not something that is high up on that list for you, that's okay. This is probably not the best fit. And if starting a family is a distant goal, or if you're beyond early parenthood, if it's a distant goal, we'll still be here. So come back and see us when you're closer to that point. And if you're beyond early parenthood, you've lived through a lot of this. Now, I'm excited that we'll probably have offerings in the future that fit more of that. But right now, we're focused on those people who are really getting into it or in that early parenthood phase. So if that's you, you're in the right spot. So in today's video, we're going to cover three ideas behind this myth: why a supportive community is essential for new parents, why the village looks different today, and how the parental village has evolved over time. Now, heads up, make sure you watch to the end to get an exclusive opportunity to join our group coaching program at a price that is not being shared anywhere else except right here in this video series. So hi, I'm Emily. Here is my professional background. I'm an organizational development and HR professional, and I've been in that line of work for over 10 years. I'm a certified retained parental leave coach. I'm a childbirth educator and parenthood educator. I'm a certified birth and postpartum doula, one of my favorite things about the work that I do. And I'm the mom of two IVF babies. You see those little nuggets in the picture there with my husband. Here's my story. I found my voice in the perinatal education space after a brutally illuminating journey through postpartum depression and anxiety in 2017. I didn't see it coming. I knew it could happen, and it just blindsided me. My husband, you saw the picture just a minute ago, is a therapist. I had all the potential support in the world, and it's not only did it still happen, because it can happen to anybody, but we didn't know how to deal with it. We didn't know what to do. So my firsthand experience navigating those challenges, combined with my years of professional work and corporate training, led me to start the Matrescence Project, which is a community-based program extending education for expecting families beyond just childbirth. I started that here in Indiana, and I've given a TED Talk on my experience and have shifted my career focus now to support parents through their pregnancies, their births, and parental leaves because of how transformational that experience was for me back in 2017. Now, you can go watch the TED Talk and hear the whole gnarly story, but let me sum it down. Let me just break it down for you into what I realized. First, I needed a village. I needed a village desperately. And the support that I needed did not exist locally in the way that I needed it. And this was pre-pandemic. This was 2017. I hear this a lot from parents nowadays, that the village that they have doesn't exist locally. And part of that is because we're still coming back from having all these programs that existed pre-2020 that just have not reemerged. So that was tough. There's a reason that parenthood and babies don't come with manuals, because what worked for me did not work for other people, and vice versa. There were people who I was very close to and who had always been sources of wisdom and inspiration in my life who just couldn't relate to what I was going through. And that was incredibly hard. But the advice that they would have given me, or the advice that would have been just generalized in a parenthood manual, did not fit. And that's not what I needed. And the third thing is that having people who understood my experience was a vital part of learning to thrive. When I finally found the people who connected to my story and what I was going through and understood what I was dealing with, and even if they didn't have answers, and most of the time they didn't necessarily have answers or fixes, they knew what I was going through. And that made all the difference in the world. So here's what we do from pregnant to parent. Our team of expert coaches guide growing families through pregnancy and the first years of parenthood to reduce anxiety, build skills, and increase self-efficacy. Christina and Rochelle don't have the same story as me. We all have different stories. We came to this from different places, but we all hit a point where we went, hold on, this is a lot. And no one prepared me the way that I thought that I should have been prepared. And I have a professional background that could be really helpful in preparing other people. So we've teamed up and we've said, let's do this. We're here to take the yikes out of becoming a parent. And we're driven by the idea that every family deserves compassionate, professional, and caring support during this transformative and challenging time in your life. This time in your life is not like any other. And I mean that in the best way and in the most challenging ways. I often say to people that parenting is, it's all the things. It's all the feelings, it's all the things. And that's it's the highs and the lows. We're here for that. So what do the after possibilities look like when you're in a supportive group? You have people surrounding you who are compassionate and helpful and wanting to see you thrive, both peers and professionals. So what are the after possibilities? This is a testimonial from a client of mine, and it feels silly to read a testimonial of your own, but the words always touch me. So Emily was so understanding, caring, and supportive. I feel that she caught us as we were plummeting and helped us get back on our feet. Currently, we still face many challenges, but most of the days my baby and I are doing well, thanks to Emily's support through the tough times. This is a postpartum client of mine. And I think so many of us go through some of those postpartum stages and just feel like we're falling. I don't know who's going to catch me, but I just feel like I'm falling. I feel like I can't do this. I feel like I'm failing. I feel like my earbud's flying out. It's all really just difficult and challenging. And it is an honor to be able to be in that position where I can help catch people and help show them. I always joke as a postpartum doula, my job is to work myself out of a job to get people to the point where they don't need me. And it's exciting to see people get there, and it's possible. So let's go back to this myth that you don't need a village support. Enough about me. In truth, raising children is one of the most rewarding and challenging experiences in life, and we aren't meant to do it alone. We talked about this before. The idea that you need a village of support can lead to feel that you don't need a village of support can lead to feelings of isolation, overwhelm, and burnout. That is what we want to avoid. We don't want that. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for anybody who's going through this parenting journey. It's so easy to have that happen, though, when support is not set up in a functional way. Now, I don't know how much you have or have not heard this phrase before. I feel like I heard this phrase all the time. In fact, it was the theme of my first baby shower. It takes a village. And it's a great idea in theory, but where is the village? I did not register for it. It was the theme of my baby shower, but it was not on the gift list. Like, where is the village? Where do I find these people? It's a phrase that I promise you, at some point you will hear when you are expecting. And We talk about it takes a village to raise a child. We don't always extend that over to say it takes a village to raise a parent and to grow a family. And my goodness, making sure that that metaphor gets extended all the way over is incredibly important and a really good focal point for how you set up your support. So let's talk about how a supportive community is essential for new parents. The reality is that it is essential, whether it includes family members, professionals, communities, other parents, all of the above. The more diverse your village is, the better. But it's not everybody's reality that their family of origin is welcome in their village, or that they have friends who are experiencing a similar life circumstance right now where their friends are particularly helpful. Professionals may or may not be in person available in your area. It's going to look a little bit different for everybody, but those are the people who are going to make it up. Having that diverse range of support can include things like emotional support, expert advice, practical help, just having somebody come over and bring you a meal or help you do your laundry, the opportunity to connect with other parents who are going through similar experiences. It really is a big, broad range. So it can be really kind of boiled down into 5 buckets here. To take a moment to look at these: emotional support, knowledgeable information, mentorship and guidance, connection with other parents, and hands on support. There are 5 types of support that not only should every parent have, every new parent deserves. I want you to hear me say that again. Every new parent deserves these 5 types of support. Lesson 2, the village is still there. We talked, we talked just a moment ago about it's a little different than your mama's village, right? It just looks a little different than in previous generations. Now, if we really want to take this idea of the village way back, I mean, you talk about people raising their babies in community. That is not what we have anymore, unfortunately. The traditional village looked like shared responsibilities, raising children in community, extended family support, experienced caregivers as mentors, and intergenerational learning. How many of us, the first time that we were at a birth or saw a birth was our own? I would say the vast majority, or maybe you saw a video in health class in the 7th grade. Um, something, it's not something that we see. How many of us were up close and personal watching somebody breastfeed? Not many of us. How many of us spent a lot of time caring for a young child or helping to care for a young child? Maybe more of us with babysitting, but probably not that many. Modern parenting, we may or may not live near extended family. There are economic considerations in play. How many of us work outside the home, not necessarily because we want to, but because we have to? It might be a little bit of both, but the idea of one person making enough money to sustain a family now is a very different situation than it was 40, 50 years ago, even 20 years ago. We have an individualistic approach to child rearing. We want to do things our own way. We don't want to just look at the book and say, well, this is what Dr. Spock says, and we want to just do. We have our own ideas and our own values about how we want to do that, and we're more individualistic. We have connection via technology, and this is a lot of these things we're talking about so far are challenges for the modern village. This one is, it can be, but my goodness, it's a huge asset. We're used to connecting. We're connecting virtually right now. We're used to doing this stuff online. We're used to having the ability to reach out to people who are not immediately in our geographical area. So we have the opportunity to connect via technology. We have professional expertise that has never been on this level before. Before I hired a doula for my birth, I knew that they existed for maybe a couple of years. I didn't know what a postpartum doula was, and now I am one. We have so many more professionals, lactation professionals in hospitals where 20 years ago they didn't exist, and information at your fingertips. There's so much more possibility now. That's what I want you to hear from this. It's a different scenario, but there's so much more possibility. So how do you assemble your village of support? How the heck do you get all these people coming to you? Make a list of the types of support you may need now and in the future. What are the things that you need and want help with? A lot of times this can be household stuff. This can be someone to come over and hold my baby while I shower. This can be, I need somebody that I can text at 4 a.m. I have those people in my life. Rochelle was that person a couple nights ago, getting the 4 a.m. text that my toddler was having a middle of the night tantrum. She couldn't fix anything, but she could just say, I see you. And that's all I needed. Writing down the names of people in your social circle who you could lean on for support. This is huge. Thinking through who are those people before you're at this time. Now, matching up that list of names, who can support, what kind of support do I need? And then identifying professionals. Now, this is a very shorthand version of what I dig into with clients and what I will dig into with folks who are in our coaching group about what this can look like. I have a technique that I like to use to really kind of think through, make sure you're really figuring out who are all of the people and what are all the kinds of things that you might need help with. So if this is interesting to you, the offer at the end of the video will especially be helpful because this is stuff that I dig into very deeply with my folks. You said it before, I'll say it again, it's not your mama's village. So there's value, huge, immense value. These AirPods, my friends, it's imperfection. This is what's happening here. I don't have the shape of ears that Apple decided was perfect for AirPods. There's value in the virtual village. It may not look like the traditional parenting village, but there are many invaluable resources and online community that can provide compassionate listening, knowledgeable information, expert advice, and emotional validation. This is where it's at. We can help catch you and we can help bring people together who are going through a similar experience. So a third lesson in this is, though it will likely evolve, you will need a supportive village for every phase of parenthood. The first few months look very different than months 9, 10, and 11, which look very different than years 9, 10, and 11. It doesn't matter where you are in parenthood. You are going to continue to need a supportive village. Now, from pregnant to parent, we really focus on these three phases: preparing for parenthood. So especially once either you or your partner is pregnant or you know baby's on the way. The first 12 weeks, often referred to as the fourth trimester, and then beyond the fourth trimester, especially the first, I would say, couple of months after, until baby is, 4 to 6, until baby is beyond that 6-month-old point. That's really what we focus on. Now, looking at today's family, these are some stats from the Pew Research Center. I think it's really interesting to look at that status as a parent is either extremely or very important to people's identity. 94% of parents today. That's a huge number. And so for something that is so central to your identity, being able to have support is hugely important. And this stat is interesting to me. Parenting is central to who I am. 60% of millennials versus 51% of baby boomers. I think it really solidifies that idea that this isn't your mama's village. This is not how people were raising their children before. We are doing it differently. Our needs are different. Our society is different. Our support is different. And so we need different things than our parents would have had. And parenting is central to who we are as an identity in more of us than it is for our parents. Less than 8% find parenting enjoyable all or none of the time. So I'm talking about this two ends of the spectrum, the black and white of, yes, I find it enjoyable all of the time, or no, it's none of the time. Less than 8%. It's a small amount. Most of us, most of the time, live in these stages of gray. I like it, but it's hard. I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm failing, but I love my children. It's it's really nuanced. It's not straightforward. And that's where we're here to help provide support, because we understand it's not easy. It's not straightforward. Research has shown that parents who have a strong support system are more likely to thrive and enjoy the parenting journey. So while the idea of being a super parent who does it all, that can be appealing, it's garbage. I'm here to tell you it's garbage. It's a lie. The truth is, it really does take a village to raise a family. No one is doing it all themselves. The people who look like they are, if you could analyze what's actually going on behind the scenes, you would be able to find where the support is happening, because no one person is doing that all themselves. They can look like it. Social media is a gremlin for being able to give us those pictures of things that make it look like somebody's doing it all themselves, but we're not meant to, we're not supposed to. Seeking out support is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. And it is something that is so important as a parent. It's one of the lessons that was hard for me to learn as a mom, how to ask for help. And I'm so glad I have learned it and I have gotten better about it, because it's everything. It's everything. And I'm at a point now where I can model that for my kids. I can model that for my son and daughter to show them it's okay to ask for help when you need things. You don't have to do it all. And I didn't have that modeled for me. I had a mom who really did try to do everything. And it's still hard for her to ask for help, decades on of having kids out of the house. So for me, this was huge. And I hope that it's really good permission for you to hear someone say that it's a sign of strength, not weakness, to seek support. So if you want our help, we have something exciting to share with you. And remember that this special offer and the exclusive discount we're mentioning at the beginning of this video We're bringing it in here. So we are launching from pregnant to parent group coaching. I am so excited about this. This is exactly the kind of thing that I would have benefited from so much, especially in my first parenting journey, but definitely in my second as well, that I just didn't have. We want to prepare for every stage of the transition into parenthood with our unique combination of reliable education, expert guidance, and caring community support. So no more overwhelm as you try to figure out what you need to know. How do I figure this out? What do I Google? Where do I look? Nope. No more cramming it all into one day, like a childbirth ed class that goes by in that you think, I hope I remember even a fraction of this. No more learning with strangers who you'll never have to talk to again. We want to build community. That's what we're here for. Setting yourself up for success by learning from knowledgeable experts, which we have all become in our journeys as parents and as professionals, Christina, Rochelle, and I, with a community of support that does not disappear after your baby arrives. We're still here. There's a group for each phase. So this support is in the 3 phases that we talked about before: preparing for parenthood, the first 12 weeks, and beyond the 4th trimester. And they're each equipped to really particularly help you with the challenges of those specific phases. What does our approach look like? That's a great question. It's education, it's coaching, and community. So how are we different from other things that might be out there? It's not just education, not just childbirth education or parenting education. It's not just coaching. It's not someone saying, you know, hey, I'll come along on this journey and help you with that. It is part of that. And it's not just community. It's not a mom's group. It's not a parents group. It's not a play group. It's all of those things together. And we found, when deciding how we wanted to set this up, this combination was not something we saw a lot of and really wanted to be able to offer to people. I am going to be covering the Beyond the 4th Trimester group. We're going to be talking about that after the first 12 weeks with your new baby. So here's what we're going to cover in that group: acknowledging the transition to parenthood, because you're still acknowledging it even that far in to baby not being a newborn anymore. Integrating and adjusting your parent identity, preventing burnout, what it is. I think we all know what it is, but more importantly, how we can avoid it. Cultivating joy and the self-care toolkit you will actually use, not, hey, go get a mani-pedi. No, we're actual self-care. I don't have time. I don't have time for the fluff. Actual stuff that's going to be functional for you, and what's functional for you might be different than for me, and that's okay. Re-entering the workplace, now, later, or never. We talk a lot about how to re-enter the workplace, but what if that's not where you're at right now? What if it is and it's not where you want to be? What if you're not sure if you ever are going to go back? That's okay. We'll bring it all. And then looking ahead, reflecting, sharing, and celebrating. It's one of my favorite things about our approach. We are really particularly keen on honoring the transitions and making sure that we take a moment to pause and celebrate. So what do the after possibilities look like? This is another client testimonial of mine. Our doulas allowed us to be ourselves together in this life-changing experience. And because having their support and the expansive range of knowledge and care they bring as a team meant that we had even more time and energy to focus on each other and be fully present. It's an experience that I wish for expecting people and partners. Gosh, that's so heartwarming to read. But that's for me. A job well done. That's exactly what I'm here for. I want to make sure that people have what they need so they can be in the moment with themselves and their partners and their babies. Does it mean they'll enjoy every moment? Absolutely not. Heck no. That's that is not what we want to cultivate, this idea of toxic positivity of you have to enjoy every moment, but it's being present. And that's important. So the bonus offer for this launch is 3 months of free access to the Village. The Village is our online membership community that's curated and monitored by our coaches. It includes a community feed, monthly webinars, free resources. We are packing that thing full of all kinds of great stuff. Like our groups, it's a space for learning, coaching, and connection. And when you join a group, you get 3 months of access for free, which is a savings of over $100. The exclusive discount that we've been talking about is early bird pricing and early access for the groups right now. The only people who know about this, that our cart is open for the sign up, is you and anyone that you want to be amazing to and share this video with, and send and say, hey, this is early bird. You can get in on this before it opens. We keep our groups small intentionally. The groups max out at a certain size because we cannot provide the level of education and one-on-one and support that we do in those groups if it gets too big. So there are limited space. So if this feels like something that you're curious about, you think maybe this is right for me, as a special thanks for sticking around, especially being the third person in this video, I'm so glad you're still here. We're offering the opportunity to join at our lowest price. So join today to get $100 off. That price goes up on Friday, March 24th. After the initial offering is closed, after our early bird discount goes away, you can still sign up for the groups. People can still access this. And this is what that pricing structure looks like. $800 regular meetings to help you learn, grow, and build connections, 6 bi-weekly sessions that are 90 minutes each, expert guidance from one of our certified coaches, and 3 months of access to the virtual community in the village. Payment plans are available. You can do 2 monthly payments or 3 monthly payments. We want to make sure that this is accessible to you all. So for you friends, you can sign up today for only $700 per phase, which is a value of $100 off. Or if you are in a position, you're early enough where the 3-phase bundle is still a good fit for you, you can do that today as well and take a total of $300 off signing up for that entire bundle for just $2,100. I want you to hear this. We have a 100% money back guarantee because we are so convinced that you'll be blown away by our coaching program that we will give you your money back if we don't meet your expectations. And we also want to give you an opportunity to participate in this without risk. We want you to be able to sign up and jump into this and know that if you attend a first session and you go, this is not quite what I wanted, this isn't quite the right fit for me, that is okay. It's not going to be a perfect fit for everybody. Nothing is. So if you ask for a refund within 24 hours, that first group, we will grant it. No questions asked, no hoops to jump through. So are you going to try and wing it, figure it out all as you go, hope for the best? Or are you going to join us and build community, expand your skill set, and gain a better understanding of what to expect? I really hope that we will see you in the group. So what happens next? Here's where you go, from pregnanttoparent.com/earlybird. Sign up for the group that best aligns with your current phase. You get a confirmation email with all your group details, and you'll be able to join your first group session next week. I so hope I get to see you. I'm so excited to be providing this support and alongside 2 unbelievably fantastic professionals with Rochelle and Christina holding down the fort in the other 2 phases. This is going to be great. This is going to be great. I'm very excited. If you are not quite ready to join, you have a few more questions, you just want to get to know us a little bit better, come join us. We're having a live Q&A call on Sunday. This Sunday, join us on Zoom. It's a free live Q&A call with all 3 of us in person. We're going to answer more questions about this program and navigating this unique phase of life. So here are the details, and I hope that if you have any questions, you will join that call. Friends, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to get to spend a little bit of time with you. I hope you've learned some things from our discussion today and this presentation. And I just want to invite you one more time to join this incredible group coaching opportunity. I hope if you feel like it might be a good fit, it might be the thing that you're looking for, that you give it a try, that you sign up, that you come to the Q&A, ask questions. And I hope that we will be able to see you in that group, regardless of how our paths cross in the future. I just wish you the best for this phase of life. And I hope it's everything that you are wanting it to be. And I hope that you have exactly the right people around you to have that support for you. So thank you so much. And hopefully we'll see you soon.